fuck is this shorthand shit? I have no idea what that is. I mean, obviously she's meant to be speaking a foreign language, so it's just like, huh? I'm terribly sorry, dear lady, but what? Nani? Okay, he's gonna translate. The lady says her name is Giselle Brett. She comes from London, England. London? From bloody London? That's why we can't understand her. She's a Londoner. She's a visiting research student currently enrolled in UMay University's medical faculty. Oh my, what a rare treat to hear the dulcet tones from the delightful language of the British peoples. I'm afraid I don't understand the word you said, but it was as beautiful as a hummingbird's song. Creep. As far as I can tell, the detective is translating her words faithfully enough. Yes, I agree. Ha, you'll obviously do fine in England, Kazuma. Her English doesn't rattle you at all, does it? Nor you. You've clearly been paying attention in your English classes, Ryu. The court thanks the beautiful lady for taking the stand. Now, if we may trouble you to confirm something, Miss Brett. 3 days ago at a restaurant called Le Carnival, a grim murder took place. The court has been led to believe that you were dining there with the victim, Dr. Wilson, at the time. Is that correct? He says, yes. All that for yes. This could take some time. But even though she's studying here in Japan, she can't speak any Japanese. Yes, because she's English. Sorry, but yeah, we suck at learning other languages. She'd like to apologize for disappearing from the scene. She says that she was due to make a presentation at the university and had to leave immediately. Yeah, never mind that there'd just been a murder. Oh shit, my presentation, I've got to go and do that. Interesting. When you're the one who engineered her escape, I was just following special orders from the Bureau. Well now, dear lady, would you be so kind as to cast your eyes over the photographic print of a dead man? Feels like there should be an official court translator. Yeah. Really should be. Seeing as you were so unfortunately present at the scene of the crime, could it be that your resplendent eyes caught sight of a wicked perpetrator, perhaps? Apparently it was a very frightening and sorrowful sight. Do you mean to say... Yes, it would appear the lady did witness the crime. The very moment when the accused, standing right there in this courtroom, shot the victim in cold blood. As a German, I can say Japanese is easier for me to learn than English mother tongue speakers, since our language is kind of similar to the Japanese pronunciations. I mean, is that because of the grammar structure? Because, yeah, the grammar structures of languages are also very different. So that's why a lot of the time direct translations go out the window, because when it reads back in a different language, like if you translate a very long passage of sentences into English from Japanese, it'll appear to read slightly backwards and out of sequence because they put words in different places as well. So it all then needs not just translating, but it then needs deciphering, you know, so... And I do think German has a similar kind of differences in the way that the words are positioned in a sentence. So maybe that's probably why you find it easier? I don't know. Could be. Need more motivation to learn Japanese. Dude, Erica, we've got anime. What more motivation do you need? Got anime, dude! So he's talking about the pronunciations, not grammar. Okay, yeah, so it's more like the way the words sound, I guess. It's the way of the soft and hard. Our language is very rough and tough, so is Japanese. Yes, okay, I get what you mean now. Yeah. Also, how to draw a young Matt. What are you trying to say? I'm old? Hentai? No. I mean, if that wants to be your motivation, I'm not going to judge. Not going to judge at all. You know, you do you. Whatever. Order in the court. Did you hear that, Your Excellency? Here we have an absolutely conclusive witness statement. Well, it looks like it's clear now. Clear who our real enemy is. Unfortunately, I will have to ask you to formally testify, if you please. Kindly tell the court the exact nature of the frightening and sorrowful sight you described. Draw a regular map with a pacifier and a rattle. That works. Sure. I mean, you know, go for it. I had arranged to meet for a slightly late luncheon with Dr. Wilson that day. The professor was unable to eat. I ordered myself only a beef steak. So she's straight up saying that was his steak. Her steak, sorry. After a while, the accused came over to greet the professor. They got into a fierce argument. Then, not long after, the accused took the professor's gun and shot him right before my eyes. I don't carry a gun myself, so obviously I couldn't have been the culprit. What about the swan? Is the swan packing heat?
Yes!
I didn't get a chance to read that. No, I didn't have any kind of argument with the professor at all. Quiet, you filthy wretch. Look at you, you black-hearted blackguard. And now look at this snow-white angel. I'm sure even a dark-minded scoundrel like you can imagine whose words the court is going to believe. Ugh. Still making the same mistakes, Ryu. You mustn't blurt out when you're goaded like that. That's a lesson you need to learn. Ugh, but he's so annoying. He is. Ouchie is very annoying. Let's say my tongue doesn't feel like breaking. Japanese is kind of good to speak. I'd say for English people it's the same. They don't like to learn German. It's rough. I mean, I took 5 years of German and had a German girlfriend, and I still can't speak the language, so yeah. It's hard to get to grips with. Biggest problem with learning German was the sentence structure and word genders. Yeah, I think that was one of my problems, was just, I don't know, it's awful to say, but some things sounded so similar, and they were yet so different in terms of what it was and how things paired together. It didn't make sense to me. So, anyway. He's thinking with the male parts. He is, yes. That's what Kazuma meant by our true enemy. He meant Ouchie's penis, because he's clearly now, you know, that's in charge, and we've got to fight that instead of Ouchie himself. Of course, I was at the scene as well. I took statements from the lady and 2 witnesses who testified and reported back to the bureau. Yes, and you lied. I mean, why are we still letting this guy talk? We know he lied. It was decided that Miss Brett was not involved, so I let her go. The testimonies of the last 2 witnesses were completely worthless, however. Well, even so, on the day in question, the lady was wearing the same outfit as she is today. As you can see, there is nowhere about her person where she could conceal a firearm. Are you fucking kidding me? Look at the back of the dress here. What about the fucking hat? You could conceal a fucking machine gun in there. In fact, there might be. That swan looks dangerous as fuck. They can be angry animals. Those fuckers can... they're like very posh geese. They can fuck you up if you're not careful. English is just several languages in a trench coat pretending to be another language. Yes, it is, yeah. There's lots of borrowed words all over the place. I would think she could hide a gun almost anywhere in that outfit if she wanted. Unless, and until the precise location of where the witness would have had to have hidden a weapon can be shown, this is moot. Dude, I could just point at her and say, there, anything will do. There are no pockets in my outfit. No pockets in the skirt, you say? And I have nowhere to hide a gun. These are the witness's own words on the matter. Well, that's ridiculous. If only I was allowed to lift up her dress, I could prove it. Down, Ryu. Chill the fuck out. Don't think about doing anything rash, Ryu. Dude, you're reading my mind? Keep out of my thoughts. But I didn't fire the gun I picked up. There must have been another gun there that day. That fucking dress, that fucking hat, that fucking Kuno. Fucking Kuno. What the fuck does Kuno know? Fucking Kuno doesn't care. Kuno will fuck that swan up. You're right about that, which means this lady is hiding a gun somewhere. Yes, that's what we have to prove now. And to do so, we need to pull her testimony apart. Oh, she smiled. Sinister. Do the anime thing and blow her dress up. Yes, he needs to pull the sword out so fast it creates a gale of wind that blows the dress up, and there we see 20 guns lining the dress. I'll be like, oh, damn. The defense may now cross-examine the witness. Oh, yes, Your Excellency. Arranged to meet for a slightly late luncheon with Wilson. Okay, let's go with this. Let's see if we can trip her up. After 2 p.m, in fact. That's really quite a late lunch, isn't it? Ah! You don't keep up with the latest fashions from Britain, do you? Late luncheons are en vogue, isn't that right? No, it isn't. No. A decisive English no has quite a sting to it. No. The gentlewoman is currently working in the victim's research laboratory, it seems. So it was apparently a daily occurrence they would lunch together. But on the day in question, the victim had another appointment in the clinic first. The dental work. We can prove from the medical report card that was submitted as evidence earlier. That's right. Miss Brett and the victim went to lunch following the victim's treatment, which was why he was so late. In retrospect, I wish I took Spanish instead. More useful where I live. I kind of wish I had as well. But looking back on my school, I don't remember if I was given the option of Spanish. We learned introductory Spanish, Russian, French, and German. And then I just ended up learning German for the remaining 5 years, or 4 years after that. Because that was the first year, or the first 2 years, maybe. But German was like the double session. And I think it was I think that was determined by the teachers. They figured what the students had the best aptitude for and then filled the classes themselves. We didn't get to choose, if I remember correctly. I don't know. Maybe we did, or maybe we only got a couple of choices based on whatever they said we could probably learn. Because some people took Russian, some people took Spanish. I didn't get it offered. I think I maybe got offered French and German. They said you can have one or the other because that's what we figured you're best at. And I'm like, French? No. As you guys have known, you've seen me play games lately this year with French words in them. I cannot fucking do it. I just can't. To me, you can put a French word in front of me that for me would have like 6 or 7 syllables in it, and it's 2 syllables to say that whole fucking word, and I'm like, you can't do it. Oui, baguette. Yes. That's about it. That's all I can do. You had the option of taking Spanish, French, or German. Yeah, like I said, I don't remember being given an option. I just somehow was learning German for the rest of my school life. Yeah. But oh well. Such wonderful logic. What a shining example of English intelligence this fine gentlewoman is. They both arrived at the restaurant. What happened next? be honest, German isn't useful. English should be totally fine in Germany. We just have to wait 30 more years for our old generations that are, well, let's be direct, dead and replaced with English-speaking Germans. Oh my goodness. Professor was unable to eat, ordered myself a beef steak. Okay. So he was unable to eat, you say? And that was because he had just had a tooth removed at the Hota Clinic, correct? That's right. You're supposed to actually check with the witness before answering. Was Miss Brett aware of that fact? It seems so, yes. She'd heard the professor was to have some dental treatments. So that would mean that it was you who ate the steak pictured here. Is that right, Miss Brett? That's right, yes. The print you have there shows the table exactly as it was left after the horrifying events. So why is it that in one of the pictures, this is what's confused me, why is he actually sat at the side of the table where the, you know, where the steak is? What happened there? He should have been at the other side of the table, or the steak should have been over there instead. So again, I wonder if the plate got switched around to give to give illusion to the lie that he was dining alone. Probably that's why. Alright. The print you have there shows the table exactly as it was. Exactly as it was left. Dear me, what a harrowing experience to have travelled to a distant island on the far side of the world and be embroiled in such tragic incidents. Have no fear, my dear lady. I swear I will crush the evil fiend that has subjected you to this terrible plight. So the victim, Dr. Wilson, had nothing to eat or drink at all. That's right, other than some carbonated water, which was on the table. Just the water. Yes, the professor was unable to eat, but he had been given permission to drink water. So it appears that the diners toasted their lunch with a glass of water each. They each raised the glass. Now then. No. Why is there only one glass? Or did she drink from the flower vase? I highly doubt it. What do you think, Ryu, about the witness's last statement? Very meaningful. That last statement of yours, Miss Brett, has a profound bearing on the case. Well, how fascinating. Do tell us, what is this profound bearing, She straight bottled it. Yeah, she could have just been necking it back from the bottle. Come on, Ryu. Fucking catch up. The significance of the statement will become apparent when the time is right. The defense calls for the witness's last statement to be formally added to the testimony. Well sidestepped, Consul. Very well, Miss Brett. Kindly repeat what you just said to be added to the official testimony. Gladly, she said. That was brilliant, Kazuma. I'm going to remember that one. Which one? The significance will become apparent when the time is right. I could really use that phrase. I'd hope there are some more useful tips you're picking up from this experience than that, Ryu. Ordered the beef steak and the professor, and I said cheers over a glass of carbonated water. So did that change the previous one? No. Yeah, so it changed the previous statement to this new one. We said cheers over a glass of carbonated water. So we know we're going to need to press that. But let's keep pressing all the others first, including this new one. So both you and the professor drank this carbonated water, did you? Yes. Being the waiter, I poured the 2 glasses myself. I clearly remember doing so, except you're actually a detective. And the beefsteak, that was for you, Miss Brett? The lady says that she'd heard it was not customary to eat beef here until Japan opened its doors to the world. Yes, that's true. What a frightful place, is the lady's opinion. I've heard it's not customary to eat sashimi in Great Britain. Now that's frightful. Every country has its own cuisine. As long as people have food to eat, what does it matter what it is? True, come to think of it, the first time I tried carbonated water, it was much more of a shock than the first time I tried beef. But anyway, back to the witness's statements. Somehow I feel like there's something out of place in what she's saying. We need to pounce on even the slightest thing now, because you never know what might lead us to our goal. Our goal of turning this trial around. Understood, Kazuma. After a while, the accused came over to greet the professor and they got into a fierce argument. I never got into an argument with the professor. All I did when I noticed him was go over and say hello. Please don't get angry with me. No, I wasn't directing that retort at you. It was meant for the lady next to you. But anyway, as I said, I did not argue with the professor. I'm afraid your words are in vain. Sorry. Miss Brett does not appear to speak Japanese. No, of course not. Japanese is such a cumbersome language anyway. English is the future, oh my god. We must all seppuku... Okay, no, not even. I want to draw a shot, but I don't know how to draw her. I mean, she likes dragons, and she likes yarn. And crochet. So you could draw her crocheting something, like a dragon. Like a little dragon. Little baby dragon. That could be a thing I think she'd like. I wonder if the prosecution will feel that way forever, or only in the presence of a beautiful woman. Well, that beautiful woman is telling a blatant lie with a completely straight face. Or a dragon on a hoard of yarn. There you go. I have to find something that will unravel her testimony no matter how seemingly insignificant it may be. Anyway, it seems that after the argument, the accused briefly returned to his own seat. That part ties with what you said, doesn't it? Yes, I still had some coffee to drink. The next time you got up after that was when I'd finished my coffee and stood up to leave. I wonder now how to draw a dragon in a kimono. Give it a try. Then, not long afterwards, the accused took the professor's gun and shot him.
Yes!
What? Steve with 8 months of Prime! Dude! How's it going, Steve? Thank you for that resub again. 8 months in a row now. With a Prime sub that you have to manually do yourself, guys. That is awesome dedication. Thank you so much. How's it going, Steve? Good to see you. Welcome to the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. Could find reference material online. Oh yeah. It is hard work. It is. Pushing a button is so much hard work. All good. Nice. Glad to hear it. Like I said, I did not shoot that gun. And like I said, there's no point repeating the assertion over and over. Well, I wasn't expecting to be attacked by my own side. Nevertheless, defendant, you can't deny that when the shot rang out in the restaurant, you had a gun in your hand. Well, yes, that's true, but... But all I did was pick up a gun I saw on the floor next to the professor as I was leaving the restaurant. In fact, yes! There was someone much closer to the victim than me at that time, the highly suspicious lady. That will do, you dirty, rotten scoundrel. Dirty. Your baseless accusations could very well accuse could cause an international incident, boy. It seems to me that your accusation is just as baseless as ours. What nonsense. The lady is merely stating what she saw. And this is already an international incident as far as I'm concerned anyway. Alright folks, got a jet. No problem, Alchemist. See you later. Have a good day, dude. Hope you get everything done that you need to get done. Have a good one. Take it easy. Yourself too. Bye-bye. Thanks for coming as always. It's good to see you, dude. I don't carry a gun myself, so obviously I couldn't have been the culprit. Oh, damn, I didn't press that. He's maintaining you got into an argument with the professor at the end of which you shot him, which is an out-and-out and total unfounded lie. Still, her statement is very compelling. After all, she is an elegant, refined, young and beautiful gentlewoman from Great Britain. In stark contrast to you, dressed from head to toe in dull black school uniform. I'm dressed exactly the same way as you are, except for the flapping red ribbons and the sword and the armband. Anyway, this is our only chance to expose her testimony as the fiction it is. If we can't do that, the trial is over. Even with your thick skin, must be able to feel the murderous looks you're getting from around the room. Only too well. I feel half dead already, and the fact I can see a single inconsistency in her testimony isn't making me feel any better either. First thing to do is press her on any of the statements, see if they seem slightly off to you. Do that and an opening will present itself, I promise you. Need to expose the true face of this exotic foreigner that's hiding behind the mask. That's what I should be aiming for in this cross-examination. Right. Yeah, I need to go to the last one and press it because I didn't. So she didn't carry a gun, couldn't have been the culprit. Yes. And then we can go back to the one we changed and present the evidence. It's all very well saying that, but can you prove it? Absolutely. I verified it personally. You verified it? Yes, I immediately after the incident I checked to make sure the lady was not carrying a weapon. I distinctly remember her saying, "I'm not." What, that's it? Excuse me, do you have a gun? No. I checked. All good. You think she's a Japanese girl? That would be an interesting twist now, Can. She does keep covering her eyes with this mask. Like, why exactly? That's all you did? You just asked her? Surely you carried out a physical search, Inspector? No. Why on earth not? The Honourable English gentlewoman has clearly stated that she did not possess a weapon. There was obviously no need for any further probing into the matter. See you, Alchemist. Have a good one, dude. Oh, there was no permission given for any further probing into the matter, perhaps? Think what you will, but if you're going to continue with this preposterous claim that the refined lady was concealing a firearm, the prosecution demands you support your assertion with facts. In other words, he wants evidence. The lady wishes to point out that of course she wanted to stay and assist with the investigation, but she was in a hurry to give a presentation at the university and was compelled to leave. Not to mention the fact that your officer told you to get the woman out of there ahead of time. Not get her out of there, just urged her to leave. The lady would like to point out that she in no way meant to run away from the scene of the crime, which is why she's only too happy to cooperate and testify here in court today, of course. Unlike a certain student who refuses to admit when the game is up. You could at least have the courtesy to pay attention when I'm goading you. No, I've been told not to let myself be goaded. So she's maintaining you got an argument. Not an outlie. Yep, we know. Right, let's go back to the thing that we know we need to press. Which is the whole carbonated water lie. And having both of them having a glass, which is not true, because we know from the photo. So this is the one. Ordered a beefsteak for myself, the professor, and said cheers over a glass of carbonated water. Complete and utter bollocks. That's it. Let me just confirm something, please. It's to do with this photographic print. Just a short while ago, you spoke of this print showing the victim's table at the crime scene. That it was exactly as it was left? That is correct, the lady says. Well, that's it. It's odd. It's very odd. Downright odd, in fact. Dear me, what's odd is the defense's inability to express themselves. Ugh. Ryu, what is it about the print that looks odd to you? Well, obviously, it's the cheers. The cheers? Miss Brett told us that she and the professor said cheers over a glass of water. But if that's true, there should be 2 glasses on the table, not the one. Ah, oh. You're quite right, Consul. There's only 1 glass pictured here. Are we supposed to be impressed by this nitpicking over a minutia? What possible difference does the presence or absence of a glass make on the case? Minutia, you say? Could it be that the detective here removed the glass from the table to conceal the lady's presence? Of course not. I would never do such a thing so reckless. But there should have been 2 glasses on the table. Or are you going to try and tell me you can clink with only 1 glass? You're quite right. I certainly took 2 glasses to the table. Maybe she ate the glass. Inspector, what did the lady say? It would seem that it was Miss Brett who took the glass from the table. I hadn't finished my water. I had to take it with me. What? It was all so terrifying, everything that happened. I panicked and thought I should try to hide the fact I'd been there at all, she's saying. Good gracious. Sorry. There. As I assured the court before, this is of no consequence at all. Oh, please. We must remember that the student had just murdered this lady's luncheon companion before our very eyes. Who could blame her for concealing a glass or 2 in her state of disarray? That's absurd. Oh, really? So, do we take it that you are now going to accuse this vulnerable, young, beautiful woman of mischief? That and more. No, 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 this can't be put down to mischief. I'd like to know exactly how the lady took the glass from the scene. It would seem that she slipped into a small handbag she was carrying. Oh! A place to conceal a gun, you say? A handbag, you say? Yes, Your Excellency. A small handheld pouch commonly carried by well-to-do women in England. So the beautiful lady has very graciously explained how and why she removed the glass from the scene now. However, the fact remains that the glass has absolutely no bearing on the case. The student has been trying to confuse the court with logical reasoning, but in the end it comes to nothing. No more pretentious accusations. You have wasted enough time already. Indeed, the lady has offered a satisfactory explanation as to why she removed this glass. I think henceforth we can consider the matter to have no bearing on the case. Consul for the defense, are you in agreement? Well, I don't know really. If you want to pursue the matter further, you're going to need to show that it has a deeper significance. Yes, you're right. So she took the glass away in her handbag. If there's a deeper significance there, it's the handbag. Imagine being confused by logical reasoning. I know, it's highly illogical, Captain. Wait, the lady put a glass in a handbag, you say? Yes, do try to keep up. It's already been explained to the court that all English gentlewomen carry handbags for small items. Let me see. A little while ago, Miss Brett stated the following. There are no pockets in my outfit. I have nowhere to hide a gun. But what she forgot to mention was her handbag. I love his thing, like his frantic, like slap down and just like he's looking everywhere. In which it would be perfectly possible to conceal a gun. You're right. Well done, partner. I had a feeling you'd pick up on that too. Yeah, objection! What are you insinuating, you vile blackguard? It's really very simple. The gunshot was heard when the defendant picked up the gun from the restaurant floor. He didn't fire that gun. We can deduce there must have been another firearm at the scene. The true murder weapon, if you will. You can't seriously be suggesting... Inspector Hosonaga. Yes? Did you or did you not search Miss Giselle Brett's handbag on the day of the murder? No, sir, I did not. As I thought. In other words, another gun, the one that was actually used to kill the professor, could have been hidden in Miss Brett's handbag. No! Order! 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 What is the meaning of this, Inspector? The meaning of what, Prosecutor Ouchie? Why on earth did you not have the lady open her handbag and show you the contents at that time? Thanks to your bungling incompetence, now she has to endure these uncomfortable accusations. Or, a murderer got away with murder. Brilliant work, partner. Now we have a chance to expose the real woman behind the mask. Do you think so, Kazuma? Oh god, here we go. Oh god, this is a big one. Well, what a sorry situation. Clearly you have no faith in the police. Well, no, because you've done shit on this job. As I said, I did not search the lady's handbag after the shooting, simply because it was unnecessary. Unnecessary? Why is that? I ought to thank the student lawyer, really. I have a piece of evidence here that I had completely forgotten about. This photographic print. Oh, it's hollow. I see something. Can you guys see it too? This print is a photograph that I thought would be prudent to take immediately after the shooting. As you can see, it clearly shows Miss Brett's handbag. Well, I never. You can see right through to what's inside. The tattoo. Not quite a tattoo. That's right. Let me show you. So... that is what I was getting at, though. But we can't see it from here, but... look at the skillet in this one. It's got the same cow's head logo. Almost like it was burned onto his hand. Now that's interesting. Why would that be? That means the plate was at his side of the table. In fact, his hand was on it. And it would be that hand as well. Because, you know, like, from my perspective, like, if he's eating, it would be this hand, right? I guess. So, yeah. That was the one when you turn around. That was the one that we saw dangling down. Interesting. The steakhouse I went to yesterday had an almost identical logo, so original it is, isn't it? It's like, hey, what about a cow's head with the horns? Like, yeah. Like, that's never been done. Depends if your webcam is in mirror image. Yeah, I was trying to do it for like you, for like how it looks for you guys. But it would have been, I mean, for me it would be this hand. But I mean, I guess actually if you turn me around, yeah, that is the right hand still. So yeah. It's on the right-hand side is the point. Did I raise my right or left arm? I raised my left, but I was trying to put it on the side that for what you guys are seeing for where the thing is. But yes, it wouldn't be the right way around once I turned to face the table. That would be the wrong hand. It would have been this hand anyway, which is my right hand. So yeah. So yeah, it was the right hand. And then when the guy's, like the hand we can see hanging down from that other picture is the right hand. So that was a burn mark. I wonder why. He had an anesthetic. He wouldn't have even felt it. He would have still been under the effect of an anesthetic, and therefore it might have numbed the pain receptors in his hand. You'd have thought it would have just been a local one for a thing. What did they say he had? Hang on. What did they say he even had? Let's see what it said again. A record of medical treatments. There's an entry for the day the professor was killed. Extraction with the use of an anesthesia. Yeah, tooth out. Sounds just before he went to lunch. There was a certain type of anesthetic they said he used. Laughing gas. Probably wouldn't feel pain. So actually it would have numbed him all over then. But there was a specific type of anesthetic they said he used. It wasn't laughing gas, it was something else. Topical. That was what they said. A topical anesthetic. I remember now. I'm onto something. Yeah, that's it. Yes, a topical anesthetic, which I think means it's like an all-round anesthetic. It's not a local one. You tried your best drawing of Shaw, at least to your interpretation. Awesome, Erica. I'll have a look at that later after the stream. Assuming you put it into the Discord, I'll definitely have a look. Apparently, meshwork bags like these are the height of fashion in London at the moment. So the contents are clearly visible. Good, so the bag snatchers know exactly what they're getting. Exactly, there was no need to search the lady's handbag. If there had been a gun inside, it would have been immediately obvious. Ah! As you can see, there's nothing to imply Ms. Brett's guilt here. So we're back to the Swan. Thank you for helping to prove that, Naruhodo-san. Thump. You'd think the topical is a local one? Maybe. I mean, I don't know. I don't know enough about medicine. Order! Order! Inspector Hosonaga, you will submit this print as evidence at once. Certainly, Your Excellency. I think you've had long enough to cross-examine the witness console. Right, let's have a look at that. According to the wiki, a topical anesthetic is a local anesthetic that's used to numb the surface of a body part. Ah. Alright, so maybe... I'm just wondering, like, why would he have burned that on his hand? You know, like... How would that have happened? And it's at an angle as well, so that's like, as you put your hand on top, he wouldn't have had it squared on. It would have been slightly at an angle anyway, so that's right as well. So why would he have that and not have felt it when it happened? Unless it happened after he died. It might have just been further effort to give lie, to the lie that he was eating the steak. Maybe they just did that and be like, oh yeah, do that as well, then maybe it'll look like he had that there, you know. I don't know. It's a bit weird. We'll see where it goes. It's just something to store it up there for now, and if it becomes relevant, we can point it out. The court has now been shown considerable evidence. The photographic print just submitted to the court record appears to have no further significance. I'm satisfied there is no longer any room for doubt in this matter, and I must make my ruling. Indeed, there's only one logical conclusion. The pathetic rookie slumped over the bench before us is the only possible perpetrator of this crime. No, just when I thought I was beginning to turn things around, I'm in a worse situation than I was at the start. Kazuma? I'm sorry, Ryuz. Now that the cross-examination of the witness is over, there's no way to force the trial to continue. What? You mean this is it? I must say, you put up quite a fight for a rookie student, but the weak are meat while the strong eat. You are wasting your time. There's no way to defeat true justice. A fact you can chew on to your heart's content from the inside of your cell. This can't be happening. Am I really going to be found guilty of a crime I didn't commit? And Kazuma. His dream of going to study in Great Britain will slip through his fingers. Kazuma? What? Is there really no chance of turning this trial around? I heard the judge. There's nothing about the last photograph the detective produced we can contest, which means there's no basis on which we can argue for the trial to continue. Very well. I will now proceed immediately to the ruling. It seems we'll be able to report to the British government on time after all. That smug little... Ryunosuke Naruhodo having... I was talking. Rude. Wait, Your Excellency. Ryu? I don't think you can rule on this case yet. Ah! This amateurishness is getting tedious. When His Excellency deems the trial over, he gives his ruling. That's the most basic protocol of the courtroom. Your Excellency, just a moment ago you said this. As this photographic print just submitted appears to have no further significance, there's no longer any room for doubt in this matter, and I must make my ruling. Now that means that if there was a problem with the evidence, some significant detail I mean, then ruling on the case at this time would be out of the question. This is blatant straw clutching. Look at this photographic print. As it shows, this is the handbag the gentlewoman was carrying on the day in question. There can be no problem with this evidence. You better know what you're doing, Ryu. I understand your objection, Consul. Certainly the new evidence submitted by the detective has not undergone the court's scrutiny. However, I fail to see we can glean any new information from the handbag. My thoughts exactly. Really, the prosecution is becoming tired of this rookie's desperate wheezes. Yes, I am desperate. This isn't a wheeze. There's something about the photograph which just doesn't seem right. If only I could put my finger on it. Very well. I will grant the defense a final opportunity. What? Oh damn, he's doing the thing with the hammer. But be warned that if I am unsatisfied by your response here, the trial will be over with immediate effect. And you're gonna get a hammer in. Do I make myself clear? Yes, Your Excellency. So, take another look at the photograph print Inspector Hosonaga submitted before. You will identify to the court where in this print we see a significant detail which you have eluded. But it's not that. That's the glass. But it's that. Right there. Present. Yes. Look at this. Here, there's a very unusual mark on the victim's wrist. That is true. It looks almost like a burn of some description. Ah! Dear me. I was pondering what new piffle you would come out with. A burn, you say, on the victim's wrist? Clearly that has nothing whatsoever to do with the magnificent lady's handbag. Yes, that is a burn mark, you're right. Go on, Inspector. A police coroner also noticed it when he was performing the post-mortem examination. It was deemed unrelated to the cause of death and he didn't note it in his report. What did I tell you? In any case, we have no idea when the victim suffered the burn, do we? No possible way of knowing either. The more I look at it, the more I find myself intrigued by the curious shape of the mark. However, as a prosecutor Auchi points out, Unless a firm connection to the case can be shown, I cannot allow further time to be spent on the precise details of the burn. Excuse me, Your Excellency, it would seem Miss Brett has a lunch appointment with the Dean and other university staff. Oh no, you ain't going nowhere. She would like to know if she may be excused from the stand now. Oh, of course, dear lady. But we shan't hold you up any longer. I'm quite sure His Excellency is about to give his final ruling anyway. What's your thinking on this, Ryu? Do you believe the burn does have something to do with the case? To be honest, I'm not really sure, but if I don't keep pushing, then it's all over. So I was thinking I should keep digging and digging in the hope that I might uncover something useful. Yes, you're right. I am? If we can just link that burn to the case, we can do that, we might be able to prise this shutting back door open again. Just give up, Consul, you can't possibly hope to do that. Indeed, I'm afraid that without any evidence, I can't allow you to pursue what is little more than conjecture. But if we have evidence... evidence that irrefutably links the burn to the victim's wrist to the case, then would you allow it? I would, yes. To tell the truth, I hadn't noticed the burn, but as soon as you pointed it out, what I did notice was the colour draining from Miss Brett's face. Really? I have to find some link between the burn and the case. This is the moment of truth. It is time to find some evidence that proves what the burn really means. So then, the defense lawyer will now present the evidence to the court. The evidence that demonstrates an inextricable connection between the victim's burn and this trial. That would be this one. The other photo.
Yes!
What's this, Consul? Yet another print? Yes, Your Excellency, I believe the photographic prints are an amazing innovation. When we humans look at a scene, we miss things. But in a photograph, things we may have overlooked at the time are recorded forever. Do hurry up, Rookie. What are you trying to say? To inconvenience this poor lady any further would be quite inexcusable. Actually, we may need you to stay with us a little longer if you don't mind, Miss Brett. You see, it's very clearly visible in this other photograph. How did the victim come to have an unusually shaped burn on his wrist? The reason is recorded here forevermore. What? How? You can't fool me with your little bluffs, boy. If that's your game, then let's see how it plays out. Show the court exactly what you mean. What is in the photograph that explains the reason for the victim's burn? It's there.
Yes!
The beefsteak? Actually, the point is the metal plate the steak was served on. The plate? Your Excellency, are you alright? As you can see, there's an emblem on the plate. I would guess it's some sort of trademark of Le Carnaval. Ah. The emblem on the plate. And the victim's burn are exactly the same shape. Ah! Ryu, you're genius. You're spot on. Which means the victim must have suffered the burn while he was present at the restaurant. But even if that's the case, we can't know if it happened on the day in question or not. It could have been the day before or the day before that. It most likely happened at some other unrelated time. Well,
Objection!
Sadly, the prosecutor ouchie, the chances of that are extremely slim. Thanks. Why? Because I said so. I can make shit up too. The outline of the burn is clearly discernible. Such a serious injury would have to cause quite a commotion in the restaurant. Wouldn't you agree, Inspector Hosonaga? I can't imagine having missed such a terrible disaster, certainly. But... I would say, looking at the picture of the wound, that it wasn't suffered very long ago, and although that's not a particularly large burn, it is extremely well defined, as the defense pointed out. It was no mild burn, that's for sure. Can you be more specific, Inspector? Well, let's see. If the plate was at around 90 degrees centigrade, a burn like that would have taken around 3 seconds. It's inconceivable the victim wouldn't have let out a scream of pain then. I've been investigating at the restaurant for several weeks already, but I've not heard anyone scream at all. As the head waiter of Le Carnival, I can testify to that without hesitation. But you're a detective, not a waiter.
Yes!
That just kind of makes his point all the more solid, but okay. There you have it. Something isn't right there. As the detective said, anyone who burned themselves on a piping hot plate for a whole 3 seconds would scream in pain, there's no question of that. The burn was inflicted post-mortem. And yet Inspector Hosonaga never heard the professor scream, not on that day or before it. That's right. And the strange thing is, on the day he was shot, I didn't hear him cry out either. Neither did the other 2 witnesses. What are you suggesting? Well, if the professor had carelessly laid his wrist on the plate or anything like 3 seconds that day, that would be beyond careless, I think, Consul. And the rest in the restaurant, myself, the sergeant, the old antiques dealer, all of us would without any question have heard him scream. Wouldn't you agree, Prosecutor Ouchie? Well, yes, I suppose. Though the question is, why didn't a single person hear Dr. Wilson scream? I almost don't believe it. Ryu, do you think... Can it really be true? I never dreamt we'd arrive at a conclusion like this, but I'm starting to think that maybe he was already dead. We've been led into a terrible trap. There's only one explanation I can think of that makes sense in this apparent impossibility. On the day in question, when he suffered the burn to his wrist, Dr. Wilson... Oh, shit, I pushed a button to continue. No! Game! Why'd you do that to me? Yes, the professor being absent-minded as usual, was unaware of his hand falling on the piping hot plate and didn't even notice the burn happening. You didn't even know the professor, and yet here you are labeling him as a bumbling scatterbrain. How about I hold your wrist on a hot plate and we see how your bumbling scatterbrain copes? Perhaps the scream you let out will wake you up a bit? Well, it's nice that there's this frankness developing between us, partner. Don't call me partner after coming out with nonsense like that. This is a critical moment. It may very well be our only chance to turn things in our favor. So come on, Ryu. You can do it. Or rather, you have to do it. You're the only one who can. Alright. Only one explanation. On the day in question, when he suffered the burn to his wrist, Dr. Wilson... Right. There we go, I'm not going to touch it. He was either asleep, well that would have woke him up, or he's already dead. He probably had died. Poison, maybe? And then the gunshot to cover it up. Maybe the water was poisoned? I don't know. But he had to have already been dead. And set up with the steak, you know, like as if he was eating, by someone who didn't realize that he wasn't able to eat. So he was already deceased. To what end? Don't know yet. No man could remain silent while his wrist was burning on a piping hot plate for a whole 3 seconds. That's clearly impossible, apart from one particular situation. Consul, are you suggesting... Yes, It's only possible if the man was already dead. Already dead? Nani? Knowing what we know now, it's only possible explanation. When the beefsteak was brought to Dr. Wilson's table that day, the professor was already dead. That's madness! Order, order, please! Consul, explain this absurd nonsense at once. The victim was killed by a gunshot. That's right. That's absolutely right, Your Excellency. This is another ridiculous ploy by the rookie student, but clearly he has no grasp of the facts. No, Prosecutor Ouchie, it's you who has no grasp of the facts. I beg your pardon. As soon as it became apparent that the victim had suffered that burn while at the restaurant, this whole case turned upside down. Or have you not grasped that yet? Oh. Your Excellency, the court must hear from this witness again. If it's true, as we now believe, the victim was already dead before the gunshot was heard. It's highly unlikely that Miss Brett knows something about it. Or highly likely. Incredible. I certainly didn't anticipate this twist of events. I'm sorry to say, Miss Brett, that you will have to forget your luncheon engagement. But Your Excellency... The justice system in our country may be in its infancy, but rest assured, all reasonable doubt must be dispelled before I am prepared to pass judgment. Thank you, Your Excellency. There's that smile again. What was that smile? Yes, of course. I mean, I'd be delighted to help. She's speaking English-Japanese now, not English-English. Especially if it helps the relations between my country and yours. Miss Brett, you speak Japanese? Well, of course I do. I am studying in your country after all. But then, why have you been speaking through an interpreter until now? I'm just fucking with y'all. My mother tongue, the Queen's English, is the most refined and elegant language in the world. As a gentlewoman, I try to avoid speaking your vulgar tones as much as possible. Wow. But it seems the men in this land possess none of the chivalrous virtues of English gentlemen, so I can see that I shall have to lower myself to communicating with you on your level. Wow. Oh, well... You are the epitome of a true English gentlewoman. We are truly honoured by this lavish consideration you so graciously afford us. I see. In that case, Miss Brett, I will now ask you to testify in your own words about the events leading up to the death of the victim, Dr. Wilson. So we're finally going to hear her own words on the matter. Things are getting interesting, Ryu. Right. The victim's death. Guys, I need to take a 10-minute break. My throat is getting very dry.